Hey y'all, it's your favorite sassy attorney here, and I am dressed in my stretch denim, wearing my pearls, and ready to tell you all the ways I was right about the Main Street Stories mystery of the double special called meetings and the geriatric city manager. And y'all, we didn't even have to wait for the Scooby-Doo team to come into town. Okay, we didn't. We didn't have to wait on Velma or Shaggy or not a one of them to figure out this mystery. The Tax King showed us exactly who the culprits were this morning on Monday, December 29th at the special called meeting. And I'm going to walk you through it so everybody knows about the Tax Kings and how we solve this mystery. I think it's really important that you understand who the tax kings are. Okay, so just to recap, the Beaufort County Republican Party ran a slate of candidates. There were 5 called the Big Five, and 2 of those 5 were on the Big Five that have been elected. And also, those individuals were on a Beaufort County Republican Party PAC slate of candidates called the Tax Team, and that also included Sloppy Joe. So we had 2 that were on both and 1 that was just on one of those slates of candidates. So I am affectionately in the collective calling them the Tax Kings, right? And I think it's important that you know I'm going to be using individual names to reference them. The Suckleburger, that's one. Sloppy Joe, that's another. And Messy Max. So the Suckleburger, aside from serving up dry hamburgers, has an interest in videography, right? And he likes to post sassy little videos. And now he's got the comments turned off, so people aren't going to be able to comment up there. The constituents, we don't need them commenting on his videos, holding him accountable to no facts anymore. We don't need to do that anymore, Mr. Suckleburger, do we? No, we sure don't. And then you got Sloppy Joe out here running the Market Street Little Vegas Wedding Chapel Central, right? Trying to get that all kicked off there on that block, right? Not turning in campaign finance reports. No, I guess he only spent less than $1,000. That's questionable with all those signs. But again, we'll get to that later. We'll dig that later, right? And then we got Messy Max. And Messy Max is out here taking campaign contributions and then voting those people into opportunities with the city, employment or otherwise. So that's Messy Max. Now that we know the cast of characters, I'm going to walk you through the mystery of the multiple special called meetings so that you know how exactly this timeline broke down. In North Carolina, there are a variety of resources to assist towns and cities, municipalities, in decision-making and governance. And one of those is the League of Municipalities. This is a member-driven, nonpartisan organization that assists local communities in governance and decision-making by providing important resources, trainings, and information to those elected officials as well as staff members. The League of Municipalities has been around since 1908, and approximately 530 of the municipalities in North Carolina are members of the League of Municipalities. Now, I certainly don't want anyone to be concerned with me revealing confidential or closed session information and be driven to have to email people or make phone calls alleging such. So I just want you to know that all the information that comes next is, of course, I have my screenshots because, you know, your girl's got the screenshots. But it's all on the City of Washington's website as well as their social media account. So all of this is covered by that. But I'm presenting it in a video because, of course, it's easier than having to scroll through various posts and making those comments uncollapse. But I don't want Grimace getting big mad and having to email or call nobody, so I just put that out there for everybody to know. So per the last special called meeting in December, on the 15th of December, the city reached out to the League of Municipalities to get candidates to serve as the interim city manager, because that is one of the resources that the League of Municipalities does provide municipalities. If there's a vacancy in local government, they have a list of people that are willing to serve temporarily. They don't want to work necessarily full time forever, but they'll step in and to keep the wheels on, because we know that high level leadership is important, and we want competent, qualified leaders for these key positions. Well, most of us want qualified, competent leaders. The tax kings, they might want something different. So arrangements had been made by the HR office of the city to invite various candidates for interviews on the City Hall campus on Tuesday, December 30th. And these interviews would stretch through most of the morning into the late afternoon. And these interviews would be conducted in closed session, which in most cases is appropriate because personnel matters don't necessarily need to be in open session until you actually go as an elected body to take action on those personnel matters. Then that has to be done in open session. So what this looks like is the actual interview with the candidates is in closed session. And if they were to make a decision, then they would come out of closed session to make that formal vote for a contract or an at-will employment. But those employment terms would have been discussed and made through a motion, a second, and a vote. Again, because these are our elected officials and we as the people have the right to inspect their decisions. So the candidates are scheduled and ready to come on December the 30th. So December 22nd, the city does a public notice for a special called meeting and provides the personnel closed session statute to then go into closed session and do these interviews.